I've written $144,000 worth of checks for this family, and I found out exactly what that was worth on a Tuesday afternoon in December. My name is Gerald Hartley. I'm 58 years old, retired civil engineer, Austin, Texas. I spent 32 years building bridges, overpasses, drainage systems across this state. I'm not a dramatic man. I don't exaggerate. So when I tell you what happened that December, I want you to understand every number I give you is exact. Every detail is real. I was replacing the weather stripping on my workshop door when my phone buzzed on the workbench. Cool afternoon, the kind Austin gets in December where you need a jacket but you're not miserable. I wiped my hands on my jeans and picked it up, expecting maybe a text from my daughter Beverly or a reminder from the hardware store about my order. Instead, it was an email from Diane, my son Philip's wife, subject line, about Christmas plans. Nobody sends a formal email about Christmas unless something is wrong. I tapped it open. Hi Gerald, hope you're doing well. Philip and I have been talking with Lorraine about the holidays, and we've decided that this year we'd like to keep Christmas Day just for immediate family. Lorraine will be staying with us for the week, and with the girls' schedule and everything, it's just going to be easier to keep things small and intimate. We're so grateful for everything you do for Nadine and Thelma, and we hope you understand. Maybe we can see you the weekend after? Love, Diane. I read it 3 times. Immediate family. Like I was an immediate family. Like the $144,000 in tuition checks I'd written over 3 years meant nothing. Like every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon I spent picking up those twins from Cedar Ridge Academy, and taking them for ice cream didn't count for anything at all. I set the phone down and stared at the half-installed weather stripping for a long time. Sylvia would have known exactly what to say. My wife Sylvia Hartley had been gone 3 years now, breast cancer, fast and brutal, faster than any of us expected. She was sharp and direct, and she never let nonsense go unaddressed. I still found myself turning to ask her things, then remembering. And her daughter from her first marriage, Lorraine Voss, 36 years old, was still living in my house. Let me back up and explain how I got here, because none of this makes sense without the full picture. I met Sylvia 9 years ago at a neighborhood association meeting of all places. She was a CPA at a local firm, widowed, raising Lorraine on her own since Lorraine was a teenager. When we met, Lorraine was 27, living in her own apartment in North Austin, working as a real estate agent. Sylvia and I got married 2 years later. I had Philip and Beverly from my first marriage. Sylvia had Lorraine. We tried to blend it all together as best we could. Lorraine and I were never close. She was polite, I was polite. She'd come by on weekends to see her mother. We'd eat dinner together, make small talk, and that was that. I never pushed for more than she wanted to give, and she never offered more than that. It worked fine. When Sylvia passed, Lorraine fell apart. She took bereavement leave from her job, and then that leave stretched into months. She told me the real estate market had gone soft and she'd lost her position at the agency. She asked if she could stay at my place for a while just to stabilize, get her bearings back. I said yes without hesitating, because the house was too quiet and because I thought it was something Sylvia would have wanted. That was 2 years ago. In those 2 years, Lorraine had not paid a single dollar toward rent, utilities, groceries, or anything else. She had her own car, her own phone, her own life. She came and went as she pleased. I didn't push the issue because I kept telling myself this was temporary, and because I didn't want conflict in a house that already felt like it had too much empty space in it. Meanwhile, the comments started, "Gerald, you spoil those girls too much. They're going to expect everything handed to them. I wish I could help more with Nadine and Thelma, but on my budget right now, they're so attached to you." I wonder sometimes if that's really healthy for them. I let it go every time. I told myself it was grief. Told myself she'd find her footing eventually. Now here's the part about Cedar Ridge Academy and the $144,000 3 years ago. Before Sylvia passed, Philip and Diane came to me with a problem. The twins were 6 years old in public school, and it wasn't working. Nadine was bored, acting out, getting in trouble for things that were really just her being understimulated. Thelma was anxious, falling behind, crying before school most mornings. They'd found Cedar Ridge Academy, one of the best private schools in Austin. Small classes, personalized curriculum, strong arts and sciences. The kind of place where kids who don't fit the standard mold actually get to thrive. Tuition, $24,000 per child per year, 2 kids. $48,000 every year. Philip couldn't look me in the eye when he asked. He and Diane both had decent jobs, but they had a mortgage, student loans, and everything else that comes with raising a young family in a city where the cost of living had gone through the roof. They'd already cut everything they could cut. "Dad, I know this is a lot," Philip said. "We've looked at every option. I wouldn't ask if we had any other way." I didn't let him finish. "I'll take care of it." Diane started crying. Philip reached across and shook my hand and held it a few seconds longer than a regular handshake. I paid $48,000 that August and the January after, and every August and January since. 3 years, total $144,000. Every dollar came from savings that Sylvia and I had built together over decades of careful living. I gave it without hesitation, because those two little girls deserved a fighting chance, and because being a grandfather meant something to me. And they did thrive. Nadine won her school's science fair last spring. Thelma had 2 poems published in the district student literary magazine. Every Tuesday and Thursday I picked them up from school, listened to them talk nonstop in the back seat about whatever had happened that day, helped with homework, taught them chess one move at a time. Those afternoons were the best part of my week had been for 3 years. So when Diane's email told me I wasn't welcome at Christmas, while the next $24,000 payment was due January 15th, something settled in my chest, not rage, something quieter and colder than that. Clarity. I didn't call anyone right away. I went inside, made a pot of coffee, and sat down at the kitchen table with my laptop. First thing I did was check Facebook, something I almost never do. Diane had posted that morning, "Can't wait for our Christmas week. So blessed to have family time." Attached was a screenshot of a hotel booking confirmation. Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, December 26th through January 20. Second, I looked up the hotel, about $4,000 for the week, a $4,000 vacation, booked and posted publicly. 3 weeks before a $24,000 tuition payment due on January 15th. I sat back and looked at the ceiling for a minute. Then I remembered something from the week before that I had brushed off at the time. I had been out in the yard early one morning pulling weeds along the fence line. I glanced up at the second floor and saw Lorraine standing in the hallway outside the master bedroom, pointing her phone at the room and moving slowly, like she was recording a walkthrough. She didn't know I was outside. I remember thinking it was odd, but I told myself maybe she was video calling a friend, showing them the house. I let it go. I wasn't letting it go now. I opened a browser and searched Lorraine's name along with the name of the real estate agency she'd worked for before she lost her job. Her profile on Lone Star Realty Group was right there, active, updated recently, 4 current listings with her name attached. Photos, contact number, the whole thing. She had told me she was out of work. She had been telling me that for 2 years while living in my house and paying for nothing. I closed the laptop and sat with that for a while. Then I called Neil Carver. Neil had been my attorney for 15 years, handled Sylvia's estate when she passed. He picked up on the second ring. "Neil, I need the official documentation on my property title and Sylvia's will. Everything confirming ownership of the house. Can you get me that today?" He paused for just a second. "Everything okay, Gerald? It will be. I just need the paperwork." He called back 2 hours later and emailed the documents while we talked. The house was mine, completely and without exception. Sylvia's will made no real estate claims for Lorraine or anyone else. The title was clean in my name only. I opened a new folder on my desktop. I called it documentation, then I spent the next 2 hours building it out. Bank statements showing every tuition payment, all the way back to the first one 3 years ago. Receipts for school supplies, birthday gifts, the telescope I bought Thelma when she said she wanted to study stars. The science kit I got Nadine last Christmas. A calendar I'd kept on my phone showing every Tuesday and Thursday school pickup for 3 years. Screenshots of texts from Diane thanking me for the latest payment. A text from Philip saying the girls had asked about me 4 times that week. Photos of me and the twins at the Science Museum, at the park, at the ice cream place on Congress Avenue they liked. Then I added the other side, Lorraine's active real estate profile, the Cabo Hotel booking screenshot from Diane's Facebook, Neil's written property confirmation, a rough calculation of 2 years of free housing. The going rate for a room in my neighborhood was around $1,750,000 a month. 2 years. That came to about $42,000. I had $144,000 going one direction and $42,000 worth of unpaid rent going another. And I was the one being told to stay home on Christmas. I was still sitting at that table when my phone buzzed again. Not a call, a text. It came from the emergency number that Nadine and Thelma shared at school, the one they were only supposed to use to reach Philip, Diane, or me in a genuine emergency. "Grandpa, are you coming for Christmas?" Mom said maybe not. "I miss you. Love, Thelma." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I called the number. Diane answered. "Gerald, hi. I'm so sorry." Thelma grabbed the phone before I could. "Diane, let me talk to her, please." A pause. Then Thelma's voice, small and careful. "Grandpa, hey sweetheart, I got your message. Are you mad at us? Mom said you might be busy this Christmas." I pressed my hand flat on the table and kept my voice steady. "Thelma, listen to me. I'm never too busy for you and your sister. Not ever. Some grown-up stuff is happening right now that has nothing to do with how I feel about you two. You understand? Okay. She didn't sound totally convinced. What are you working on at school this week? I wrote a new poem. My teacher said it was really good. I want to show you. I want to read it. I'll see you soon, okay? Grandpa promises. After I hung up, I sat there without moving for a few minutes. That was the moment the decision stopped being a question. I opened my email and wrote a short message. I addressed it to Philip, Diane, and Lorraine. I copied my daughter Beverly, who was in Seattle. Subject: family meeting required. I need to meet with everyone this Thursday evening at 7 p.m. at my house. This is not optional. Please confirm your attendance. Gerald, Philip called within 40 minutes. Dad, why is Lorraine included in this? And why did you copy Beverly? Because this involves all of them. What is this about? Thursday at 7. If you're not there, I'll consider that your answer and handle things accordingly. I hung up before he pushed further. Over the next 2 days, I didn't hear much. Philip sent a short text saying they'd be there. Diane sent nothing. Lorraine knocked on my door Wednesday evening and said, almost casually, I guess we're doing a family meeting. I said yes. She looked at me like she was trying to read something in my face, then nodded and went back to her room. Thursday, I set the dining room table with 4 printed copies of the documentation folder. I propped Beverly's tablet at the end of the table so she could join by video call from Seattle. I made coffee and I waited. At 5 to 7, headlights came up the driveway. They came in together, all 3 of them. Philip was in front, jaw tight, moving like a man walking into something he already knew was going to be uncomfortable. Diane came in behind him, eyes a little red at the edges. Lorraine was last. She still had her coat on, like she planned to keep this short. I shook Philip's hand, nodded at Diane, looked at Lorraine and said, thanks for coming. She gave me a small nod back. I got everyone seated at the dining table. Beverly's face appeared on the tablet screen from Seattle, already connected. She gave a short wave but didn't say anything. I stayed standing. I'm going to talk first, I said. Then everyone gets a chance to respond. Nobody argued with that. I picked up the first page from the stack in front of me. 3 years ago, Philip and Diane came to me because Nadine and Thelma needed a better school situation. I agreed to cover tuition at Cedar Ridge Academy. That was $24,000 per child per year, $48,000 per year total. I have made that payment every August and every January for 3 years. The total is $144,000. I set the bank statement printout on the table. That number is documented right here. Philip looked at the paper but didn't touch it. Diana stared at the table. For 2 years, Lorraine has lived in this house. No rent, no utilities, no contribution to household expenses. I want to be straightforward about what that represents financially. The going rate for a comparable room in this neighborhood is around $550 a month. Over 24 months, that comes to roughly $42,000. I set down a second sheet with the calculation typed out clearly. I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm saying it because it belongs in the full picture. Lorraine shifted in her chair but stayed quiet. Last week I received an email from Diane telling me I'm not welcome at Christmas this year because Lorraine wants the holiday to be immediate family only. I set the printed email on the table. That same morning I saw a Facebook post about a $4,000 resort vacation in Cabo San Lucas, booked for the week after Christmas. I put down the screenshot. The next tuition payment is due January 15th. The room was quiet. I picked up the next document. I also want to address something directly. Lorraine, you told me 2 years ago that you lost your real estate position and hadn't been able to find work. That's the reason I understood you needed a place to stay. I set the printed page down in front of her. This is your current agent profile on Lone Star Realty Group's website, 4 active listings, updated this month. She looked at the page. Her expression didn't change right away, but something tightened around her eyes. I'm not accusing you of a crime, I said, but I want everyone in this room to understand what the record shows. Philip picked up the Lone Star printout and read it. He set it down slowly. Lorraine, he said, just her name, nothing else attached to it. She crossed her arms. I picked up a few listings recently. It's not like I've been hiding it. It's just freelance work. For how long? Philip asked. She didn't answer right away.
Lorraine, his voice was steady but firm in a way I hadn't heard from him before. How long have you been working again? About 8 months, she said finally.
Quiet. Diane made a small sound and looked away. I placed the last document in front of Lorraine. This is a written confirmation from my attorney, Neil Carver, verifying that I hold full and sole title to this property. Sylvia's will includes no real estate claims for any other party. I had this prepared because I became aware that you had been asking questions about the home's market value that landed differently than anything else I had said. Lorraine looked up at me for the first time since she'd sat down. Who told you that? Nobody told me anything. I paid attention. I was curious about the market. That's literally my job. Your job that you told me you didn't have, I said, not angry, just flat and clear. And you were photographing the interior of my house. The master bedroom. I was in the yard. You didn't see me. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. Philip stood up, not aggressive but upright. Dad, I owe you an apology right now before anything else. I knew things didn't feel right for a while, and I kept looking the other way because I didn't want to deal with it. That's not good enough. You have been nothing but generous to this family for 3 years, and I let this situation develop because I avoided conflict. I'm sorry. Diane wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. Gerald, the email I sent was wrong. Lorraine said Christmas would be more special if it was just the 4 of us, and I went along with it without thinking about what it would mean to you. You're Philip's father. You're Nadine and Thelma's grandfather. You should have been the last person on that list. I'm sorry. Lorraine hadn't said anything for a full minute. When she spoke, her voice was quieter than before. You want me to leave? I'm asking you to leave, yes, I said, with the proper notice and the proper process. My attorney has prepared a 30-day notice to vacate under Texas law. I placed the final document in front of her. It's all there in writing. Neil's contact information is on the cover page if you have legal questions. 30 days is enough time to make real arrangements, especially now that we know you have income. She picked it up. Read the first page, set it back down. My mother loved this house, she said. Her voice cracked a little on the last word. I know she did, I said. I loved her too, but Sylvia is gone, Lorraine. This is my home. Those are 2 separate things, and one of them doesn't change the other. She stood up, she folded the notice once and put it in her coat pocket. She looked at Philip like she was waiting for him to say something that would shift the balance. He looked back at her and didn't offer her anything to hold on to. She nodded once, mostly to herself, and walked to the front door. She closed it behind her without slamming it. Beverly's voice came quietly from the tablet. You okay, Dad? Yeah, I said, I'm okay. We sat at that table for another hour after Lorraine left. Just me, Philip, Diane, and Beverly on the screen. No agenda, no documents, just talking the way families are supposed to talk. I laid out 3 things going forward. First, I would continue paying tuition at Cedar Ridge through the end of the school year in June. That was 4 more months. After that, Philip and Diane were responsible. I wasn't cutting the girls off. I was giving their parents 6 months to get their footing and take ownership of the decision they had made. Second, I expected to be included in family holidays. Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. Not negotiable, not subject to revision based on who else was on the guest list. Third, my Tuesday and Thursday afternoons with Nadine and Thelma stayed exactly as they were. Same pickup time, same routine. That wasn't changing. Philip agreed to all 3 without hesitation. So did Diane. Before we wrapped up, Philip said something that stayed with me. Dad, I've been watching you handle things the wrong way my whole life. Not you specifically, me. I always thought avoiding conflict was the same as keeping the peace. You just showed me tonight that those are 2 completely different things. You came in here with facts. You stayed calm. You said what needed to be said. No yelling, no threats, just the truth laid out flat on a table. He shook his head. I needed to see that a long time ago. Beverly laughed softly from the screen. Better late than never. I told them both good night and stood in the driveway after they pulled away, just standing in the cold for a few minutes. The neighborhood was quiet. Christmas lights on the house across the street were blinking in that slow, lazy pattern that always reminded me of the holidays when Philip and Beverly were small. Sylvia would have handled that meeting better than I did, probably. She was sharper with words, quicker on her feet, but she also would have let me know in her way that I'd handled it well enough. Lorraine was out of the house in 28 days. She didn't ask for an extension, and I didn't offer one. The process was civil. She took what was hers, left the rooms clean, and that was that. We haven't talked much since, but last spring, on Nadine and Thelma's birthday, a card showed up in the mail for them, her handwriting, a small gift tucked inside. I set it on the counter for Philip to give to the girls. It was a start, maybe. Or maybe it was just a card. Either way, I didn't throw it out. January came and I wired the tuition payment, and in June I made the last one. The following August, Philip called me to say he and Diane had figured it out. Diane picked up summer tutoring work. Philip renegotiated one of his contracts and brought in extra income. They were covering Cedar Ridge on their own. Philip sounded proud when he told me. He should have been. Christmas that year was the best one I'd had in a long time. Nadine and Thelma came running to the door when I pulled up, both of them talking at the same time before I even got out of the truck. They had made gifts at school. Thelma gave me a folded piece of paper with a poem. She had written, printed carefully in pencil with a small drawing of the two of us at the bottom. Nadine gave me a handmade card with a diagram inside of her science fair project, complete with labels and arrows, because she wanted me to understand exactly how it worked. I still have both of them on the refrigerator. At dinner, Philip gave a short toast, thanked everyone for being there. When he talked about family, he looked at me, and I knew what he meant by it. I still pick up the girls every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm at every school event, every birthday, every science fair. Thelma showed me a new poem last week. Nadine told me she wants to study astrophysics. I told her I'd help her research colleges when the time came, and she acted like that was the most reasonable thing she'd ever heard. Those afternoons are still the best part of my week. That hasn't changed. Looking back at that December evening, sitting alone in my kitchen with a cold cup of coffee and a folder full of bank statements, I think about what I was actually doing. I wasn't building a case to punish anyone. I wasn't trying to win anything. I was just done being treated like a resource that could be scheduled around and set aside whenever it was convenient. Sylvia used to say that real generosity doesn't ask for applause. She was right, but it does ask for basic respect. And when that respect stops, the silence stops with it. I found my backbone that December, and I found my son again. If you're reading this and you recognize yourself somewhere in it, I want to say one thing directly. You're not an ATM, you're not a backup option. You're not someone who should have to earn a seat at your own family's table. The men who built things, who showed up, who wrote the checks and kept the lights on and drove the carpool and sat through every school play. Those men deserve better than a polite email telling them to come by the weekend after. If nobody in your life has told you that lately, I'm telling you now. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to blow anything up. You just have to stop pretending it's fine when it isn't. Put it on the table. Say what's true. Let the facts speak. That's enough. That's always been enough.